they're investing in what we call essential franchises. So ano tumataas dito ngayon sa amin? Water refilling, milk tea, laundry, because people can, they have no time to do their laundry. But the LPG is increasing up because people are cooking at home. So we're seeing an increase in these smaller franchises.
Some of the things we should be doing sa crisis, minimize costs, minimize inefficiencies. And during crisis, if we have extra time, we are locked down pa rin somehow in many of our homes and offices. Let us strengthen ourselves intellectually, physically, emotionally, through good health habits, through reading, studying, listening to people like RJ and Dodong and Marvin. Go to the YouTube of Marvin. Study and prepare for the boom times.
And so the way I approach my business always, when business is good, I save a lot. I don't spend when business is good. I save a lot because I know calamities will come. When calamities come naman, I go reverse. I invest this money in the farm preparing for better times because I really believe things will be good. Mabuti lang sinabihan ako ni Wilson, may boom after 2 years and I will prepare for that, no? Pero that's true eh. 'Di ba? I really in the church they say, oh, the end of the world will come. Ako ang reaction ko diyan, I wish the end of the world will come para tapos na lahat ng problema natin. Pero if the end does not come and we're not ready for the good times, lugi tayo. I like what RJ said, di ba? Do not waste a good crisis.
Happy New Year, everyone! We are bringing back your favorite podcast guests from the previous videos, and we're gonna give you insights on how you go about your business, your finances, and your investments for the next year. We have the co-founder of Mercato, and one of the greatest entrepreneurs in the country, RJ Ledesma, back. And we also have the founder of Kamuning Bakery, Lee Flores.
Owner pala. Kasi it was founded 81 years ago. Sorry.
Okay, we have the owner of Kamuning Bakery, Lee Flores, back also, and farmer/founder of Semilya, Dodong Cacanando, back in the podcast. So we're now 9 months into the pandemic. For sure, being entrepreneurs, you guys experience different challenges for the year. Can you share your biggest challenge? How did you get past it? If you've already gotten past it, what were the steps that you did to be able to do it?
Yeah, like Marvin, I shared with you earlier on, one of my biggest challenges because I ran an offline night food market business. Our biggest, is that people would come to the market physically. And because of the lockdown, we had to close the market because it was a place of mass gathering. So it was a big blow to a business, but we realized that, what was the essence of our business? It was all about incubating new food concepts. And incubation could occur not only offline, but rather online as well. So the first thing that we did was we created an online marketplace and delivery system for all of our small food vendors where we could aggregate all of them and bring them into one place so that they could continue to market their services. We could continue to market their products online. And that business has slowly pivoted to us becoming the one-stop shop for small food vendors to get their products online. So right now, if you are a Mercato small food vendor, we can already put you on Lazada, we can put you on Reselli, we can put you also on Kumu, we can put you also in Ayala Zing and the Mercato Marketplace. At the same time, what we did was that we realized that, since we're all about incubation and helping businesses get back on their feet, we were able to also work together with the different LGUs, work within the IAT of protocols to reopen our new safe, socially distanced outdoor markets where we work together with both small food vendors and also with restaurant owners because both people are struggling. Both need to be incubated back to health. We've opened up these concepts in strategic areas, one in BGC High Street, another one in SM by the Bay, and we're looking to open up a few more in 2021 really help other businesses get back on their feet. So those are the things that we try to do during this crisis. We've tried to pivot our business, but of course going back to helping going back to the brand essence of incubation. And I think it's very key, and I'm sure Dong and Wilson agree that in this crisis we all need to help. We're not only helping our restaurants, but we're also helping the disenfranchised community through in all our businesses. A portion of our proceeds right now go to Save the Children Philippines. That is an NGO that helps children with special learning or with learning disabilities to go back to school. We provide them with alternative learning platforms and educational materials so that they can continue to go to school amidst this pandemic.
During this pandemic, it was difficult for business. I have two main business, real estate, and I bought 81-year-old Kamuning Bakery Cafe in Quezon City, which were both affected by the lockdown starting March. Real estate business a little bit slow and not too active because you cannot go out, no transactions. And some real estate deals ko na just 1 week before the lockdown, I had a place in Quezon City near Morato, an entire old house. There were 5 people who wanted to rent it. I was so excited. One wanted, but both 3 of them wanted to build 2-story structure na bago and rent the whole place in a very great way. Then nagbayad na yun one of the 3 that I chose. Then 1 week later, biglang nag-lockdown buong Metro Manila. The one that I chose is a high-end, very good, maybe one of the best food spas in Metro Manila. Talagang ganda ng plans nila. Tapos they had 50 employees in 3 branches existing nila from Green Hills to Quezon City. Nandito na tuloy yun, many of my transactions sa real estate. And then, so I had to adjust dapat. I have a lot of people in the office sa real estate, but not too much activities. So, yeah, that's one thing. Number 2, I bought this old bakery na there was a fire 2 years ago. I was in the middle of recovering. Tapos, just before the lockdown naman, luckily, I said I had to buy new equipment already. After almost 2 years of the fire, I had to buy new equipment. Just before the lockdown of President Duterte for the whole of Luzon, all the equipment started coming. Tapos Chamba, nung nag-lockdown everything, biglang itong weird na sideline business ko na Kamuning Bakery, naging sobrang weird. Everybody, tumawag pa sa akin ABS-CBN one time. I don't even go to the bakery kasi I don't go out of my home office. From here to the bakery, it's only 5 minutes by car. I don't even go out kasi, di ba, lockdown daw, very strict. They called me up, sir, pwede ka ma-interview? Bakit? Ano nangyari sa bakery? Sir, hindi mo ba alam, araw-araw pinipilahan ka sa labas? They've never seen Kamuning Bakery daw na may pila daw sa labas kasi at that time pala, all the restaurants, all the malls, all the bakeries, pati sari-sari stores yata na inconvenience. And the biggest bakery in the Philippines, yung billion peso factory in Laguna, it was parang paralyzed yata because of the workers cannot go in. Luckily for me, I bought the oldest bakery and many of the old traditions I continued. And one of them, the old traditions of Kamuning Bakery, all employees stay in. Walang uwi-uwi. Because ayaw nila yung old owner kasi ayaw nila na late ang mga tao kasi we have to open at 5 a.m. Basta it's an old style, paternalistic style system. I take care of you, I feed you, I make you stay here pero you don't, wala kang late, wala kang absent, di ba? Mga ganyan. Kasi employees na workers sometimes tend to, pag may sweldo, the next day absent na, nawala and all that. Kaya very strict sila. So luckily for me, during the lockdown, no public transport, tapos people are afraid of infection and everything. All my employees are intact, insulated, para kaming bubble. So nakiusap ako sa kanila, can you work 24 hours? Can we have 3 shifts? Tapos, luckily for Kamuning Bakery, our sales literally almost exploded. Tapos nakakatawa. Tapos ano pa ginawa ko, all the people in real estate na a little bit dormant sa staff ko, sabi ko, pwede kayo parang call center. Tayo na lang magtawag-tawag. Let's do online. Let's do online selling. All your numbers, tagay ko dyan sa So I have 8 secretaries. All of their numbers ginawa kong online for Viber and everything. Then I went online. Noon, yung Kamuning Bakery, it was doing okay naman. Hindi ko pinansin yung mga delivery na yan. Hindi ko pinansin yung online. Then just before the start of the lockdown, Sabi ko, we have to shift kasi people cannot go to the bakery na siguro. So I went online selling. Yun, online, digital, and everything. So it started to add a lot of sales pa. So in the weird sense, yun Kamuning Bakery nabuhay because of adjustment. And then when I saw people lining up, buying all kinds of things and all kinds, minsan lunchtime pa lang ubos na, naiinis ako. How could you have a place na lunchtime ubos na ang items? So I had to increase and add so many other products since na-imprison ako literally in the house, di ba? In the house office and bakery, wala na akong pinupuntahan. So kinukulit ko yung mga bakers, uy, are you not bored with puro Blaso de Mercedes na lang, puro egg pie na lang, puro ganyan? Ayaw mo ba gumawa ng mga fancy cakes? Ito, alam mo ba ito, yung mga pictures sa Instagram, sa New York, sa Europe, kaya mo ba ito mga cake na yan? Sabi ng mga bakers, sir, easy lang yan, kaya namin yan. Talaga, hindi sila nag-culinary school, hindi sila nag-high school, pero sabi na kaya daw nila. O sige, gayahin mo nga to, gayahin mo to. Na-shock ako. During the lockdown, we came out with so many different fancy products. From the nicest classic cakes to the modern cakes na I don't even know how to pronounce their names, to the Mexican, alam mo yung tortilla wraps using flour, to all kinds of foods. Ang dami na, may sourdough na kami for the first time in 81 years. May sourdough, may rye bread. We have all kinds of cakes you can imagine. And yun, nabuhay yung small bakery business. And during the lockdown, naisip ko pa, the difficult times, di ba? One of the persons leasing my place in Parañaque, there's a house there in El Grande Avenue nag-release, ayaw na rin mag-business. So sabi ko, empty na naman, marami akong idle places. So sabi ko, gawin natin branch na lang ng Kamuning Bakery. So during the lockdown, ginawa akong branch, nabuhay naman. So parang weird. There are things you can do. I'm an optimist. So luckily, alam mo yun, all the equipments that came in before the lockdown, the last piece pa, sabi ng may-ari, sir, hindi ko na deliver, wala kaming trabahador. Pag i-deliver ko dyan Monday or Tuesday in your place, it's only me and my son who will drive that equipment, the last piece. May trabahador ka ba who could bring it down and take it in? Marami mga bakers namin. So, we had to adjust lang.
Got it.
There are still difficulties, there are still weird things happening, but we are still trying to survive, trying to be resourceful, and always, bottom line, optimistic.
Got it.
All the negative, I'll try to find some positive out of it sana. Ever since I bought it, up to now, it's the best time of the history. It's parang, I've never seen that bakery. Hindi ko nga papatayuan na nga ng bagong structure kasi I'm just using a temporary tent in the last 2 years. Tapos sabi ko, it's doing even better before the fire. We had a fire noon, and after 2 years, we've been trying to adjust and everything na problema. Then suddenly, this lockdown, nabuhay ulit yung bakery like it was before the fire.
Very, very good story of pivoting and doing things well today. Dodong, biggest failure and challenge. Grabe, sobrang insightful ng kay Wilson.
When the lockdown started, I have 2 businesses, Marv, di ba? I grow hogs for Monterey, and then I also grow high-value crops, lettuce, broccoli, cucumber. When the lockdown happened, nag-zero yung gulay na yan. Because we basically sell to supermarkets, to restaurants, and because all establishments closed down, so nag-zero yan, and everybody stayed at home. However, as I told you before, I always believe that calamities will come. So we were ready because we'd always save for calamities. But there's another principle that helped me survive. I believe that behind all calamities are opportunities na binabaliwala natin nun, 'di ba? Kasi mas magandang opportunity. So when my vegetable business went zero, I was just asking myself, saan pumunta yung market? And alam natin yon, people stayed home. Even before the lockdown, I started this small delivery business to Cagayan. When people would ask me, ba't hindi ka lang magtayo ng tindahan sa Cagayan? Sabi ko, alam mo, working capital pa yan overhead pa yan. And hindi ako taga Cagayan. So sabi ko, at least ang cost ko lang, pag nag-deliver ako, delivery cost lang, tsaka yung driver. That saved us when the lockdown happened because we just expanded that business and we became very serious about delivering. And ang nangyari, because we were delivering organic, pesticide-free, So that my database just grew on its own organically. People would, my customers would tell their family, would tell their friends, and so it started to grow. So ang ginaganda pa, because normally, di ba, when you sell to a household, they don't buy one item. They want different items. So that forced the farm to now grow very difficult crops. We now grow spinach, we grow kale, we grow Japanese cucumber, and these are ultra difficult. We grow sugar beet. And because of the pandemic, we were forced to do things that we were very uncomfortable before. And so ngayon, meron kaming magandang negosyo that has been sustaining us. We deliver to the homes, and ito ba maganda, Marv? Because I deliver to people who are very choosy. 'Di ba? Medyo subdivision, big houses. At so walang problema sa presyo, 'di ba? When I go to the supermarket, namimili pa sila ng presyo. Ako walang problema sa presyo. If I tell them ito presyo ko because there's nowhere to go, they agree. So that improve our cash flow. However, yung piggery rin, nagkaroon ng problema yan because people were not buying, so the movement of hogs with Monterrey was very slow. So that hurt us in terms of funds flow. Kaso lang, I always believe na when you have a business, just let it survive and things will change. Ngayon, ang mahal-mahal na ng baboy ninyo sa Manila. Di ba? Because of this ASF, di ba? African swine flu. So now naman, everything very, very good. We haven't recovered financially sa babuyan, but the movement of hogs is very fast. So that one naman improved. So two things I did dito sa pandemic. One, I just made myself survive, but also I started to look for opportunities behind the calamities. Yun ang belief ko parati. There's always opportunities behind calamities because that is the opposite of things. And most of the time, kasi when the economy is so good, you don't mind them. So now, we look at them, and so when the economy comes back, I will have two businesses. I will have delivery to the homes, and when the restaurants are back, I will have another business with restaurants, hotels, and supermarkets. So katulad ng sabi ni Wilson, no? Okay, lumaki pa yung negosyo niya during times of pandemic. And I really believe that can happen if you are just sensitive to the opportunities around you. So yan, Marv, yun ang nangyari sa amin, Marv.
Got it. And what's interesting about everything you said, no, from all three of you, is that things like this, things that are uncertain, makes great entrepreneurs even better. It allows you to become more creative, to sort of figure out and pivot kung saan ka dapat pupunta. So thank you. I'm excited for your answers, the next batch of questions. So same pa rin, RJ, Wilson, Dodong. We are now 9 months into the lockdown. If things get worse before they get better, considering there's still a lot of uncertainty, we don't know what will the new strain be or the vaccine, what will be your battle plan for 2021 to thrive?
I just have to clarify, no? I do 3 different businesses. One is Mercato, the other one is called Easy Franchise, where we connect franchise owners with franchisees, particularly OFW franchisees, and we help the OFW franchisees run their franchises in the Philippines. And number 3 is a business called Enter PH, where we help foreign businesses offshore outsource their businesses to the Philippines. Now, if things get worse before they get better, let's say first for Mercato, they've said that they're not going to go back anymore to an MECQ or ECQ. They're going to be localized lockdown. So I think we can continue to pursue doing our markets, but we're going to be strengthening right now our online delivery, which we have coming up, our online e-commerce. But more than that one, no, is I told you earlier on, Marvin, in a previous interview, we're putting up our first cloud or ghost kitchen, because that might just mean if everything starts to shut down again, at least people still need food to get delivered to their place. And if they want that same experience of ordering from several vendors, but they want to get just one delivery charge, the ghost kitchen or the cloud kitchen will be the best way to aggregate all our vendors into one place and continue to deliver to people. So that's what we plan to do. Just take a look at it's the same mindset, taking a look at what are the pain points in the economy, and then or pain points because of this crisis, turn that into an opportunity. So strengthening the e-commerce play of Mercato Central as a food delivery incubator and marketplace. Number two, for Easy Franchise, what we're actually seeing is that more and more OFWs, they have a lot of money here right now. From a group called Filipinos, I found out that they have one of their highest sales in the midst of the lockdown. They were selling 3 to 4 billion worth of properties in a month. But these were properties which are first home residential in the provincial areas, because many of the OFWs live in the provinces, were trying to buy first homes for themselves. So they were buying online. And many of them have money to spend and money to invest. They're more particular right now. Before, they were spending on non-essentials or on luxury things. Now they're spending on essential things or investments. So they want, all OFWs, we always tell them they need to have a good exit plan. When you leave Dubai, when you leave Saudi, when you come back home, hindi pwede ginastos natin pera ninyo. You want to have business with recurring cash flows. So we're seeing that there's actually an increase in the number of people investing in franchises here in the Philippines that are being run, that we help run, no? But they're investing in what we call essential franchises. So ano tumataas dito ngayon sa amin? Water refilling, milk tea, laundry, because people can, they have no time to do their laundry. But the LPG is increasing up because people are cooking at home. So we're seeing an increase in these smaller franchises. Family Mart is starting to do even those small compact franchises as well, because they're realizing that as this crisis grows bigger, it's more and more key to have your franchises or your essential franchises near and near to the communities. So we're seeing that one happening. And whether or not the crisis happens, you still need these essential goods. So we just need to increase them na lang, no? And then the last thing is for my business called Enter PH. Sorry, my son's playing with. It's hard to tell him to stop playing here. Sorry na lang. But then for Enter PH, we are experiencing in the Philippines the same thing that we experienced back in 2008 during the U.S. economic recession. What was happening? Because of the recession in the States, many U.S. businesses were closing. So they were looking for other places where they could do business at 30% of the cost, right? That's why the BPOs grew back in 2008, because we could do their outsourced work, their back office work, accounting, finance, other stuff, for 30% of the price of what they could do in the States. Right now, during this pandemic, because many businesses are faltering as a result of this crisis, we in Enter PH are getting so many inquiries for these businesses to come over here to the Philippines to offshore outsource. And we're not talking about the large businesses, we're talking about the MSMEs in those businesses in Australia, in the US, that are looking for more affordable places where they can still do back office work at a lower price, but at still same quality work. So for us, like Dodong and Wilson said, like you said, diba? In crisis there's opportunity, but like Winston Churchill said, never waste a good crisis, and that's what we're trying to do here right now.
Wow, amazing! Thank you for that.
Based on many business people I've talked to and I look at the economy, I think there will be some crisis pa before the recovery comes. And I hope it will not be so late, but I see the first half of the new year not yet very good. Maybe the second half would be the time. Sana, hopefully, we could really recover na talaga. The government is saying that there will be positive growth in the economy next year. That's very easy kasi we came from a very negative this year. So I see that next year we should, in the first half, at least personally, me and the business that I run, I should be more resourceful. I should be more efficient. The first thing I will do after New Year, after this busy, yun kasi Kamuning Bakery is super busy pag Christmas. That's at the time that the bakery is talagang really busy. So the first thing I will do is check on everything's efficiencies, cost efficiency. Parang I just feel there's a typhoon coming. I really feel lang kasi the crisis that we went through this year, 2020, the problems of different businesses have not yet really been manifested a lot. The banks are not showing yet all the numbers, the bad numbers, foreclosures, and I hope not, but I see a lot of difficulties in the new year, at least in the first half. So I'm preparing myself to be more efficient, to be more resilient, and to be more cost conscious, and to boost whatever cash flow I could get from the interesting Kamuning bakery business. And one thing about real estate, I have a weakness before kasi during boom times, I tend to invest in real estate kahit walang income nakalagay dyan 10 years, 20 years. Wala akong pakialam, which is not the right thing to do. I realize now I should try to release it out or do something with it. That is some of the things we should be doing sa crisis. Minimize costs, minimize inefficiencies. And during crisis, if we have extra time, we are locked down pa rin somehow in many of our homes and offices. Let us strengthen ourselves intellectually, physically, emotionally, through good health habits, through reading, studying, listening to people like RJ and Dodong and Marvin. Go to the YouTube of Marvin. Study and prepare for the boom times. I really believe that maybe, hopefully, the second half of next year with the vaccine coming by maybe middle of the year, maybe based on historical, I'm a history buff also. The last time this happened to the world was 100 years ago. 1918 to 1920, maybe 50 to 100 million people died worldwide now. Everybody wearing masks. It was a gloomy Christmas, gloomy New Year. The economy worldwide was horrible. There was a pandemic wrongly called the Spanish influenza. Nagaling sa Kansas pero Spanish influenza tawag. But based on what happened 100 years ago, it took them 2 years to overcome. And after 2 years, I keep telling people, we should not be too overly pessimistic. After 2 years, do you know what happened sa America and Europe and all over the world? The economy flourished. After the 2-year horrible pandemic na yan, it was so good, the economy, stock market was flying through the roof now and everything. Alam mo tawag nila sa Amerika? The Roaring 20s, the Jazz Age. Yung 1920s era, you go to America, all the big grand mansions of the wealthiest people in America built during the 1920s. So, feeling ko after this pandemic, if we survive efficiently, if we don't give up, if we persevere, those of you with loans and whatever, don't give up. Tell your bankers not to give up on you and whatever. If you will survive this, we will all, I think, flourish soon. And we will all totally forget this horrible time. And ako, feeling ko, I should use this time to write more. I should not miss my deadlines. And as a hobby, I should read more. I should study more, listen to RJ, Dodong, and Marvin more, and learn from other people.
Marvin lang.
Yeah. And then he will build this. He will build this mansion after this one. After the crisis,
Oo nga.
mansion. The Roaring Wilson
I
Mansion.
want to build more branches. I will ask RJ kasi RJ magaling sa real estate yan. Saka magulang niya.
Okay, thank you, Wilson. Dodong, let's do this.
Before I tell you anong strategy namin, Marva, let me just share with you a personal concern. This is just personal because I'm in the livestock business. Everybody's waiting for vaccine. Ako, I always feel uncomfortable about vaccine because, a vaccine is actually a virus that you inject to fight another virus. So ito nangyayari sa livestock. When a farm starts to vaccinate their herd, namamatay yung mga hayop sa palibot nila because wala sila nung ganung bakuna. And so ako personally, I'm scared about this vaccine because they haven't tested that. There's this article that I read from the CEO of Merck. Sabi niya, the fastest that they've developed a vaccine is 4 years. And tayo, we're promising a vaccine after 1 year without proper test. Sabi niya, genocide yan. And yun lang, I just want to warn all of you about vaccine because I'm afraid of vaccine. I wish people would just develop their own immunity. Wilson, you talk about pandemics in the past. There was no vaccine that came out.
Yes.
They just disappeared because everybody developed their own immunity. So this vaccine is very, very dangerous, at least for me sa akin lang. So just be very careful. Vaccine does not give us hope. It is very dangerous when not tested properly. Okay? But anyway, let me go back to the answer ko kay Marvin. Ano ang battle plan namin 2021? You know, Marv, I've always told you, di ba? One of the things you always quote about me is I always say calamities will come. That in fact, when I manage my business, I always bear in mind calamities will come, even when times are good. And so the way I approach my business always, when business is good, I save a lot. I don't spend when business is good. I save a lot because I know calamities will come. When calamities come naman, I go reverse. I invest this money in the farm preparing for better times because I really believe things will be good. Mabuti lang sinabihan ako ni Wilson, may boom after 2 years and I will prepare for that, no? Pero that's true eh. 'Di ba? I really in the church they say, oh, the end of the world will come. Ako ang reaction ko diyan, I wish the end of the world will come para tapos na lahat ng problema natin. Pero if the end does not come and we're not ready for the good times, lugi tayo. I like what si RJ said, di ba? Do not waste a good crisis. So kaya ako, I'm actually now in the investment mode. I am not holding back. The reason why I'm investing because I know things will be better. Pero ang wish ko, back in my mind, sana the end will come. Tapos na tayo, let's go home. We either go to hell or we go to heaven. Di ba? Tapos na.
Go to your mansion in Bukidnon that you will build after the crisis is over.
And eat the vegetables.
I'm waiting for the mansion. To try the spinach and the kale.
Nako, RJ, kung alam mo lang gano'ng ka-massive yung mansion niya, currently pa lang, baka mamaya bigger than Del Monte na siya.
But anyway, yun sa akin, Marv. Today, I'm investing in the farm, preparing for the good times that will come, na katulad ng sabi ni Wilson. Because it will go back eh. Di ba? This is the most important thing I learned in business. Everything goes on cycle. Good famine, it will go to famine, abundance. And you also see that in your stock market, Marv. It goes up and down. So we just have to learn how to ride the good times, survive the bad times. But I really believe if business is good, then you should invest during these times because it will become better sooner. So yun ang aking kwan. We're really trying to understand where we should invest in the farm because things will become better. So anyway, yun ang aking kwan. Anyway, comment lang ako kay RJ. RJ, ngayon ko lang nalaman na milk tea pala is an essential. Kasi sabi mo,
I mean, it didn't come from me. It came from the It actually
yun na nga. I just learned. That's really interesting. It's now an essential. Okay.
Pero that's so interesting because I to have a snapshot of Filipinos consuming behavior, just look at my wife. So I've seen how many times she's ordered milk tea over
during
the
this
past.
crisis.
Yeah, so
even my kasambahay dito, they're also ordering milk tea online.
yeah, so
Mga tao sa office, they pay a lot for milk tea. Sabi ko, I have traditional tea na regalo sa akin. Mas gusto nila milk tea. Mahal pa yun. Ako, libre yung tea ko.
It's an essential thing today.
yep.
I don't believe in keeping cash too much. I always invest in real estate, which is good and which is not good sometimes. Good kasi hindi ko ma-spend talaga kahit na gusto ko. Kasi in the Philippines, we are not like Hong Kong or China or Singapore na the economy is very liquid. I could not forget a billionaire tycoon told me sa Hong Kong daw, pag may condo daw siya, anytime he wants to sell the condo in Hong Kong, basta i-discount mo lang, within the day, benta na daw.
If we were doing this in the old normal, we couldn't stop and reset di ba? But now this is the chance to stop, reset. Okay, itong old practice, pwedeng tanggalin to. Let's leave behind what the best one is and then move forward from there. I think the bigger thing we need to learn, the best thing to learn from this crisis is that what can we create in terms of a business opportunity that will be sustainable and long-term after the crisis is done.
So yung nagsara lang, it was just showing them, mali yung ginagawa mo. Kaya lang sila nagsara because they insisted on what they were doing. They should have pivoted and changed, di ba? And learn from it. Storms are not bad. It will expose your foundation. It will test your ideas. So dapat lang tayo nagre-respond immediately. Mali, baguhin natin.